Welcome to the Globetrottin ADs. This podcast is for you, athletic directors, activity coordinators, coaches, and program associates based in international schools around the world. The Globetrottin ADs is proudly hosted by Nick DeForest from the American International School Vienna and Matt Fleming from the American International School of Budapest. Here they are now, Nick and Matt and the Globetrottin ADs.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Globetrottin ADs. My name is Nick DeForest, and for the first time in this fourth season that we're doing this podcast, I am opening the show. And that's because I am on location here in Brussels without my good friend and partner in crime, Matt Fleming. Matt couldn't make the trip, but we needed to do an on-location podcast for this conference. Coaching for a Greater Purpose Conference, hosted by the International School of Brussels. And we are off to a great start here in Brussels. I'm coming to you on Saturday morning from the Grand Platz in my Airbnb, beautiful view overlooking the place to be in Brussels, right downtown, this amazing square. Google it if you haven't been. It is amazing. And I'm pretty jacked for the day today. Yesterday, we kicked it off. There was a opening ceremony. There was a keynote speech from John O'Sullivan from the Changing the Game project. He was great. Real down to earth, real nice guy, best-selling author. Flew over here just for a few days, just for the conference. And I'll tell you what, look forward to hearing him on this podcast coming up sometime soon. We chatted today, and he definitely will join us. But we're focusing on the conference, and after his keynote, there was a panel discussion in a beautiful atrium. There was about 150 people there. There was a panel with some questions. We, as audience members, got to ask some questions and have a bit of a discussion. And then it led into a social, some drinks, some snacks, some food. And it was apparent from everybody there that this hasn't happened in quite a long time. At least not in the international school community, an in-person conference where people from all over, the connections were just being made all over, and friendships just rekindled. People haven't seen each other in a long time. It was fantastic. Just myself, people I had only ever met online over the past few years. I got to see in person, and of course I got to revisit with a lot of people I haven't seen since before the pandemic. And there were a few surprises, people I didn't expect to see. Just really great. And it was it was really clear that was happening all over the place, and the connections were being made. And we're just a group of people that want to share and want to get better for all the students that we service, so to speak. So, I'm going to be leaving here, the Airbnb, to go up to the conference, and I wanted to record now. I kind of wanted to record it in the moment, and then let you know what to look forward to. I think in the next little bit of this podcast is I'm going to do some interviews. I'm going to do on the spot a little bit. Hey, what do you think of the conference? What do you think of the school year? Tell us what you want to get out of this. Key moments, stuff like that. Of course, I'm going to have some interviews with the, organizing team from ISB, what they think of this first of many Coaching for a Greater Purpose conferences. And I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a little back and forth. Of course, I'm going to do another podcast that's just going to be around a roundtable that I'm going to lead on the Sunday, the last day of the conference. But today, for me especially, kind of a big day. I am going to present on my book for the first time ever, a global playbook. People were a bit excited last night to get their hands on a copy, so I'm going to have some copies for people. And a bit nerve-wracking, but it's going to be great. I'm also going to be in a panel discussion right at the end of the day. And then actually a little bit of back home news. I'm going to do a radio interview for my local radio station, and that'll all take place later today. So it's a full day. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to go to a commercial break and hear from Cookery, and I'm going to come back after that with Marcus, my fantastic Cookery rep, who's also here. Yeah, so sit back and relax and hopefully stay with us for the rest of this episode. Cookery are a global multi-sport clothing brand specializing in providing the world's most prestigious schools with bespoke made and designed team uniforms for students of all standards and abilities. If you are frustrated by inconsistent colors, branding, costs, and sizing across your school's uniforms, then it's time to discuss an offering where every sport is available from softball to soccer for male and female athletes at rates to suit your budget. To find out how Cookery could elevate the apparel of your student athletes to a professional level, email the team at contact@cookerysports.com. A dedicated sales manager will offer you a quote today. Mention this ad and receive a special offer on your coach or PE staff order. All right, so I'm here with Marcus as promised. Marcus has been the Cookery rep for me in my, let's say, multi-year journey with Cookery at the American International School of Vienna, which we've loved every minute of. Talked about Cookery on the show every once in a while. Mentioned it in the book. We couldn't be happier for our relationship at school. And then, obviously, as a sponsor for the Globetrottin ADs, I'm also super grateful for all the support you've given us there. And it's great to finally see you in person after probably 3 years.
Superb to be with you, and it's great that you're such a great ambassador for Cookery across all the international schools, and Cookery is delighted to partner with such a flagship as Vienna. So thank you very much for your support over the years, Nick. Long may it continue.
Yeah, for sure will. And we're at the conference, right? This is a conference episode. You're also a sponsor of the conference, which is why you're here.
Indeed.
How did that come about, and are you happy to do more of these types of things for anyone listening that may be planning events?
Sure, I'd love to, and know what is current and fresh in coaching philosophies and ideas, and anything that's a coaching conference that's nascent or in a project or a discussion stage. That's great. I first heard about proposals for this conference almost 4 years ago, over in Bangkok after a green curry, and I think it was one of the sort of throwaway comments, and now here we are, and we're actually physically at a conference, and we're seeing people having workshops and round tables and participating in new sports, and it keeps me young and fresh, and as a pensioner almost, it's great to still be around athletic directors and people involved in sport. That keeps me excited and energized about the industry as well.
Right. Well, that's great. And I asked you to be on, right? You didn't ask. I think Cookery is a valuable organization for any school, which is why I wanted to have you on as well, not just as a sponsor, but because we're excited at AIS Vienna. I haven't unpacked it yet, but we've gotten a whole bunch of new gear with our new logo on it, and it's almost all sustainable, made out of plastic bottles, right? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time. I mean, I'm at the conference, and I'm in sessions. At the end of the day, I'm here as a salesman, and I'm selling sportswear. And does a T-shirt make a kid run faster? Some people might say it's not an important part of coaching or trying to get the best out of your kids, but I would say putting that kid in the right uniform, putting that kid with the right branding and the right logos in the right colours, in the right product, it it really will make them run faster and push themselves harder and make them challenge themselves to feel that joy for the game, whatever they're playing. I mean, my memories of sports uniforms when I was a kid, you didn't play in the uniforms that were fit for purpose for the sport you were trying to participate in. And, playing rugby in a shirt in the rain that weighed more than you did as a 10-year-old was a nightmare. And, when you go to a swim meet, you have to wear the correct outfit. You have to wear the correct product to be, appropriately attired for the sport. You can't turn up with the wrong kit on. So, your athletes, with their new branding and their new logos and their great kits, will represent the school with a lot of pride, I hope. And Cookery is obviously over the last 2 years made a big push towards sustainability, recycled materials, different cuts, different fits. And, as you just mentioned, all the new range can be ordered, for every sport that we offer, and also some presentation wear and travel wear and tracksuit warm-up wear can all be made out of sustainable, recycled, reused PET plastic bottles, which is quite a miraculous thing to say, but, you can play any sport now, and you can be, rubbing your halo in delight that you are saving the planet.
Yeah, no, that's great, and just a great feature that makes it even more cool for our kids to wear. So thank you. And if anyone's out there wants to get a direct line to you, or maybe if they're not in your region here in Europe, what should they do? Where should they go?
Well, I've been with the business for many, many years, so I get contacts from people that I've crossed paths with from the Far East, from Oceania, and random places in the middle of jungles and on the tops of mountains. So, send me a message. My email is Marcus with a C, marcus@cookerysports.com, and I'll pass on, if I'm not the correct person to be fielding your sales inquiry, to one of my colleagues. We've got offices around the world, but we will have the right person to be able to be in that position to support you locally on the ground.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So the next few minutes will be some on-the-spot interviews that I did with 5 people during the conference. I really didn't give them any warning and just said, hey, come over here, answer a question, and got some great responses. There's a few ADs, a student, as well as a coach. So enjoy. Okay, I have Massa from Tassis, Switzerland here, and it's the second morning. And what do you think of the conference so far?
It's been great. We've been, networking, meeting a lot of different ADs, coaches, and it's the first time I've seen a conference that's geared towards coaching. So having a lot of fun. Great speakers so far, and it's only just started.
Cool. That's great. And you just finished an active start, kind of a lacrosse / ultimate frisbee game. What'd you think of that?
That's exactly what I was going to explain it as. It's called the UFO, but it's really it seemed quite technical at the beginning, but there's good stages to develop it, so it was fun, and I definitely put my information down to get more details afterwards, and maybe we'll have it at our school too.
Cool. Very cool. Have fun the rest of the way.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, now I have Ryan Erickson, the middle school athletic director at ASL. Ryan, what do you think of the conference so far?
Yeah, it's been a great start. The active starts today, and fantastic. Great way to get the mind and body working together, and ready to learn from all the fantastic presenters today.
Cool. What was your active start? There's a few things on offer here. So
I did a yoga session, stretch out, get a good stretch in, get myself limber from a long summer of doing not much.
There you go. Yeah, great way to kick the school year off, right? This conference.
Absolutely. So, and I think I'm looking forward to tomorrow's session and maybe doing something a bit more movement orientated, game orientated.
Cool, right? Well, thanks and enjoy.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great day.
All right, I have Will Moncrief, now the AD at the Frankfurt International School, and Will's here with a lot of his coaches. They've come together on a bus, kind of kick off the year. What do you think about that, Will, and what do you think it'll bring to your whole staff?
Yeah, we're fortunate enough. We've got an incredibly supportive school who is allowing us to bring 12 coaches, and then Megan, our athletic trainer, and I are coming along as well. So I just think it's a great way to kickstart the school year. It's creating great connections between coaches who are in different seasons from one another, and I think it's building a culture within our coaching staff that we hopefully will be able to then pass on and build with our student athletes.
Wow, that's great. And so far, it's Saturday morning. How's it going?
Yeah, it's been great. I was fortunate enough to be a part of the panel last night, and I think the thing I took away from that is, with the little survey and the input from coaches, there was a lot of similarities, a lot of common themes, and I really enjoyed the fact that there was a great deal of audience participation. I felt like everybody really wanted to speak their mind and share, and it's been a long time since that many coaches have been in a room together, and I think it's also rebuilding connections between the schools. A lot of these coaches I haven't seen in a number of years, and they haven't seen each other, and so I think it's also a way to kind of rebuild the connections between the schools.
Wow, great. Well, thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, so I'm here with Andrew Morgus. I grabbed him as one of the only students here at the conference. He stuck out. It looked familiar because he also presented at the Globetrottin 8A student-led conference last year. So I thought I'd ask him what it's like to be a student at a conference made for coaches and ADs. So what do you think?
Well, I find it really interesting because while I may not be a coach, I have a leadership role on all the teams I'm on as a captain. And so I'm able to take a lot of the coaching principles and apply them in my leadership on the team, and also just being a teammate. Whether I'm a captain or not, I can still apply that to help my teammates be better and help the team be better as a whole.
Yeah, great answer. And I think we know as lifelong learners, I think the ADs and the coaches that are here, that you can learn from any situation, anywhere. So I think it's pretty cool that you're here, not just as a volunteer, sitting out at a table, but in sessions. I guess last question is, does it feel awkward to be in a room with coaches talking about how they can improve things for their athletes, or?
I was thinking it might have been awkward, but I actually find it really interesting to see how coaches discuss it behind the scenes, because you see something completely different on the field, and it's interesting to see how different coaches theorize their coaching style and talk about their strategies to ensure that their teams can do the best they can.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, nice to meet you in person, and thanks for learning alongside us.
Thank you.
All right, now I have Alex with me. Alex was an international school student himself and is now working at the International School of Dusseldorf. He is in marketing, but he's also a coach. Alex, what did you think of the conference?
Things about this, just like, way back in the days when I was a student athlete, was just making those connections with like-minded people. Back then, you were making the connections as a student athlete. Now you're doing the same thing, but just as a coach. Yeah. So, the skills you learned then, it's pretty much the same skills you learn as an adult, or like that you use as an adult, right? Yeah. And it's not just within the sports environment and context, but just, in all walks of life, right? So
perfect.
Right.
So I just announced it's going to be in Dusseldorf,
right?
The next conference. Okay. And you're in marketing. Are you excited about it? It's a lot of extra work, as we heard, but
for sure.
What do you think about it?
Well, again, it's the opportunity of just, building on that network, sharing great ideas, there wasn't enough time. A weekend actually didn't do justice to all the great conversations that were happening, but at least they're being had, right? Yeah. And even if you did know a subject, sometimes a conversation will just kind of, trickle off on a whole nother subject, and just, bouncing good ideas off good people, right? So, pretty much. So that's one of the big takeaways and things that we hope to be able to recreate in Dusseldorf.
Well, I'm looking forward to Dusseldorf, and I hope a lot of people are too.
Right. No, we're looking forward to it as well.
Cool. All right. Some great perspectives there from those different people, and I think I could have interviewed everybody at the conference and gotten some just great nuggets. I think everyone was super pleased. And this last mini interview here is with Lee Roski, who was the head of the organizing committee, I would say, and the AD at the International School of Brussels. And I grabbed him right after it was over. All right, so I have Lee Roski, the man of the hour here, as we just closed off the first ever Coaching for a Greater Purpose conference. Lee, it's pretty soon. It ended 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But what are your impressions, and how did you think it went?
Yeah, somebody asked me, what do you think? Like, what would you give it 1 out of 10? And normally we run these kinds of things, and I think, we should have done this. I should have done that. We should have corrected the white. We missed this whole. And there's nothing. Like, I can't think of. There are things you certainly improve on, but I mean, I'm at a 9 or a 10 in terms of the overall experience, and I think what we brought as an event, and then the presenters were amazing, and on top of everything else, it was that connection. It was the coaches and the ADs and everybody just having a chance to connect, and I think Will said it well in there. The idea that I really do think this will have an impact on international school sports in Europe, and people just having more of a connection and understanding, which is then going to trickle down to the kids. Like
absolutely.
I'm really at this point, having finished 10 minutes ago, I couldn't be happier.
That's great. And you said something in your closing there that I really believe and have thought throughout the conference of the coaches that aren't here. I'm really envious of the schools that came with 10, 12 different coaches, because they're all having the same conversations after. So that's for next year for me, is to get the word out in my hometown, in my community, to get more people here with me.
And I think that's, for us, when you host it, it's a little different because people's lives go on, right?
Yeah.
So my coaches have kids and their things, and so you're not kind of stealing them from their reality. So we had lots of coaches kind of in and out of it, but I think I would have loved to have had. I would have loved to have had more of them, but I think part of that too is because this is so new. You have to have that word of mouth where people are like, no, that was awesome. You need to go when the next one comes up, and I think that should work. I think we should have a little, hopefully, positive word of mouth. So
well, it was awesome, and you will, and thanks for doing all the work, hosting it. And it was fantastic. Congratulations.
Well, thank you for your support, and it was great. And you helped us get that word out there. We had some schools here who I didn't anticipate, and people who are here, and I think that's from your reach. So thank you.
All right. Okay, fast forward from the conference now to my home here in Vienna. It's Sunday night, so still the last day of the conference, but I had a bit of time on the airplane to go through everything, think about it, look at my notes, and I know that I have a few takeaways that I'm going to use right away. Some in my coaches meeting this week, and some parent meetings, and there was just a lot of great ideas and sharing. So just another few minutes here of this episode. I just want to wrap up the conference, at least in my eyes, and it was fantastic. It was a great way to start the year. It was a great first time coaches conference here in Europe for international schools. And for me, it was just a wonderful place to connect with people that I've never met in person before, only online, but also seeing people I haven't seen in a long time. So I'm not going to name drop too many people here, but definitely Terry Gladys. It was great to see. I had no idea that he would be there. So great to see you, Terry. But there was tons of people like that all around. And the people that I do know well, but haven't seen in person in a long time, it was even more special. It made it just such a relaxing atmosphere. And that wasn't just me. That was across the whole board. People were connecting with people they haven't seen in so long and making new friends. So that was great. Personally, I thought my presentation about the book went well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about it for the first time, and of course, I've learned some things from that, and I'll continue to spread the message of the book whenever I can. I really enjoyed the panels. There was a panel each day. I haven't seen that at a conference. I got to be a part of one of the panels, but there was questions back and forth, and the people in the panel were, of course, a bit of the focus, but the people in the crowd also shared their opinions and asked questions, and it was like a really big round table, so to speak, and I thought that went really well. Of course, we heard from Lee already, but Lee, Brian, Angela, fantastic job. Thank you so much for all your work and organizing everything, as well as the whole community of ISB. You had a lot of coaches there, and it was just great being on your campus and getting to enjoy the time together. I think that was one of the big things and of my takeaways is just getting back to in-person PD. Been doing so many things online, and they have been great, from the conferences, from that first lockdown way back in April, through all the different podcasts and meetings and things that I've had online. They've been great, but nothing beats an in-person conference. Hands down, can't beat it. The connections in between the sessions. There was a lot of break time in between. You could talk to people, continue conversations, and it's just makes the learning go even deeper when you're then talking about it with other people and not just switch the Zoom off and go to your couch. So that was a huge one for me. I mentioned the connections a few times already, and they were great. So valuable to do that, and I really liked a lot of people, especially Will Moncrief mentioned how the coaches interacting and the ADs interacting, and how when we know each other and have a good time with each other, that trickles down to the kids. And this conference will help out tremendously with all the different coaches from all the schools meeting. Of course, not every coach, some schools had 12 people there, 10 people, 8 people. But it's just, it'll go a long way. It'll go a long way. And another big comment I would say is a lot of it is we're preaching to the choir. The people at the conference were there for the right reasons. They want to learn. They're usually the ones doing the good things already with our students. And that was a bit with my book, is I don't always want to talk to ADs and coaches and talk to them about athletics, but to get out and not always preach to the choir, so to speak, but get out and stretch ourselves and continue the conversations to other teachers and parents and administrators and other people that maybe aren't as dialed into all the great things that athletics can bring. It's a great message. Get it out there. Spread the word about athletics, but also, about the conference. You heard me talk to Alex. It'll be in Dusseldorf next year. It should only get bigger now, right? It should only get bigger. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Those are my thoughts, especially here on a Sunday, right in the wake of this conference and just before the start of our school year. This is going to come out on Monday. If you're listening to it on Monday, it's my new student day at school, and our first day of school is tomorrow, the Tuesday, and it's exciting to be back and have the kids back. I can't wait, and I hope you are all excited about the starts of your school year if they haven't yet started. So thanks for listening. Thanks to everybody at the conference. Every participant there had made it a better conference with their great contributions to the roundtables and workshops and panel discussions. So thanks to everyone that made their way to Brussels this past weekend. And I hope to cross paths with you in person or online sometime soon.
Until next week, this has been another episode of the Globetrottin ADs.